Thank you. Okay, ladies, how many of you want to go home and clean your toilets? Woohoo! That wasn't very exciting. How many of you would love to go shopping this afternoon? That was kind of weak, actually. I mean, that was almost as excited as cleaning the toilets. How many of you would love to go home and go shopping this afternoon? Woohoo! You are women after my own heart. And we are talking about women in business, women in leadership, and growing in the position you're at, whether you are an entrepreneur or an employee or a stay-at-home mom. We're going to be talking about the obstacles to your success, the obstacles to realizing your dreams. And the perfect illustration came my way just a few weeks ago, and I thought, I'm going to bring some stuff and tell you ladies about what happened. I got to go shopping with a girlfriend. I don't get to have girl time that often. I'm very busy, and I do a lot of traveling, and I don't like to ditch my husband when I'm in town. And so we usually do things as couples or just the two of us. And our husbands were busy. And so my girlfriend, her name is also Debbie, and she's about my height, and she's also blonde. People think we're sisters. And then I say, well, it would be kind of cruel that our mother would name both of us Debbie. And so Debbie and I got to go shopping. We were going to have a girl night, and our husbands were doing something else. And so I said, well, let's go over to South Lake Town Center, and let's do all those shops out there. I know some of you are like, yeah, that's a fun place to shop. And we're going to go to dinner and drink wine and talk, and then we'll go shopping. It doesn't make sense to eat first and then go shopping, because it's already discouraging to go shopping, and then when you eat and you feel bloated. But anyway, that was our plan. So we had a great dinner. We were having a good time. We went into the first store. Everybody probably shops there. Ann Taylor Loft. I love that store. I'm always buying stuff there. And, you know, half the time I go in and I can't find anything that fits, or the color is off, or it's too tight. You know, it's like I'm not going up another size. So, yeah. So I go in there, and I don't know why, but everything was just fitting. I'm grabbing clothes, and I'm like, ooh, this color looks good, and these slacks actually fit, and oh, this skirt is so cute. And I'm just trying stuff on left and right. And I'd heard my friend, you know, out there in the store, and the sales associate said, is there anything I can get you to try on, or are you just browsing? And my friend said, oh, no, thank you, I'm just looking. So she continued to look and walk around the store, and I'm trying stuff on and coming out in the three-way mirror. I'm like, ooh, this fits too. And I go back in, I'm trying stuff back and forth, back and forth. And, you know, the sales associate never checked on me, so I had to run out there and get a different size when something didn't fit. And so about 45 minutes later of all this shopping and trying on, I'm heading to the register, and my friend didn't have a thing. And I said, did you try anything on? She said, no, I didn't see anything I liked. I said, okay, well, I'm so sorry I took so long. So I check out, and I leave with like $300 worth of clothing. And that was an unplanned, you know, experience. I wasn't planning to spend that much money. So at the next store, we were heading to Black and White, Black House White Market. Yes, oh yeah. And we walked through the door, and she looks at me and she says, I've already decided I am not buying any more black. I have too much black in my wardrobe. You know, when you get to be our age, you wear a lot of black. And you're trying to cover up all kinds of things. And she said, I'm not buying any more black. And so I don't think she was planning on doing any shopping. And I said, well, I've already shopped my wad, but let's just look. You know, that's the trouble. And so we're looking, and she picks up this white sweater. And she's looking at it. This isn't it, but she was looking at it, and she said, you know, that's really cute. I need a white sweater. She wasn't even going to try it on. She was heading to the register. And then the sales associate at Black House White Market said, this cardigan looks gorgeous with that white sweater. Now, my friend had just said, I need some color. And the sales associate was nearby. And she pulled this off the rack and said, this looks gorgeous with that white sweater. And my friend looked at that, and she said, you know, it really does. That's very pretty. And she said, but I'm not sure that'll fit me, so I think I better try it on. And of course, I'm egging her on because I want her to spend money, because I'm out of money. So I'm like, try it on, it's really cute. So she goes and tries it on. She heads to the dressing room. The sales associate follows her and grabs this beautiful cardigan. And I did borrow this stuff from her. And she grabs this gorgeous cardigan color, And she says, you've got to try this on with that cardigan, with that tank top. It looks really good together. And so my friend says, yeah, I'll try that on. So she steps into the dressing room. As observant as she was, the sales associate realized that my friend was wearing a dress. And so she wouldn't be able to come out. You know how at those stores, everybody comes out to the three-way mirror? That is if you don't look bad in it. If you look bad, you stay inside. If you look good or you think you look good, you step out to the three-way mirror so all the people around can egg you on and tell you, girl, you got to buy that. And so the sales associate noticed she was wearing a dress, so obviously she couldn't step out in her tank top and cardigan when she tried it on. So she grabbed a black pair of slacks. And she said, well, just try this on so that you can come out and show us. And of course, the slacks looked fabulous. They were black, and the cardigan and the tank looked gorgeous. And so my friend steps out, and we're all oohing and ahhing, girl, you have to buy that. She's like, yeah, I think I will. It's not even on sale. She didn't head for the sales rack, so she loved it. It looked good. It made her look slim, and she was very pleased. Well, right before she stepped back in to go put her clothes back on, the sales associate handed her this skirt. And my friend looked at it, she said, I don't wear horizontal stripes. No, I don't wear. She said, trust me, this is the very slimming skirt. It's gorgeous on, trust me. My friend said, she heard the word slimming, and she, just like me, she said, I'm there, I'll try it on. So she takes the skirt, she comes out of the room, and oh my goodness, the skirt was so slimming, it looked terrific. And before she could go back into the room, the sales associate said, this belt looks amazing with that outfit. Now, my friend said, I don't do belts. I don't like to draw attention to the middle area. The sales associate said, just trust me. Try this on. And she says, can I help you? She said, sure. So she puts it on her, and she adjusts it to the right place, which I wouldn't have put it in the right place. And we both, our jaws dropped. When she turned and looked in the mirror, we both saw this really gorgeous hourglass shape that the belt created. And she looked 15 pounds thinner. Not that she's overweight, she's gorgeous, but we all want to look 15 pounds thinner when you're my age. And so she looked fantastic. That belt was not on sale, it was expensive. And of course, before she could get away, she said, well, just to pull it all together, you do need to try on these purple shoes. Now, fortunately for her husband, she didn't like the purple shoes, so she didn't buy them because they had a little strappy thing and they just didn't go with her legs, she said. But I thought they were gorgeous. So she didn't buy the shoes, and that's why I had to bring pink shoes up here, because I don't have purple shoes. But what happened is she left that store spending $350 when all she was going to do was buy a white sweater. And those women that work in those stores work on commission. And my friend left that store feeling like $1 million. And we all get a little discouraged, or many of us get a little discouraged when we shop, because we just feel like, man, this is too tight in the middle, or it kind of makes me look fat, or whatever. What happened in that experience, and I'm like taking note going, oh my goodness, this is perfect to share with the women at the conference. Because what happened is in store number 1, sales associate number 1 was just trying to sell stuff. She was trying to sell clothes. And my friend wasn't buying clothes. But in store number 2, she was solving problems. She was creating a solution. The solution is, I'm not happy with my body right now. I'm not happy with the way things look on me. And I would never even try that skirt on because I know it's going to make me look fat. And she created solutions, and she made suggestions. And what was really fun is she was excited. You should have seen this frenzied salesperson. She was excited. She wasn't just selling, she was having fun with us. We were playing dress up, and she was like, oh, you have got to try this on. She actually brought out a necklace. My friend did not buy it, but I did. And she bought the belt instead. She spent over $350, and it would have been over $450 if the purple shoes had been to her liking. And she didn't buy a single thing from the clearance rack, which is where most of us go. We go to the clearance rack first because we assume that it's all the same. We just want the half price stuff or the 40% off. And I thought, this is skipping down to principle number 3. That was overcoming the obstacle of rejection. The first associate didn't know how to overcome the rejection. She thought my friend didn't want to buy anything. That is not true. My friend wanted to look good, and I bought stuff simply because I thought they all looked good on me. And I honestly wouldn't have cared how much it was. I always go to the clearance first. But if the clearance stuff is making me look fat and the full price stuff is making me look good, I don't care what it costs. If you make me look younger and skinnier, I will buy it. And so overcoming the obstacles of rejection. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but I wanted to start with that because, you know, I think most of us like to shop, and we don't even realize that when we go shopping, most of us really aren't there to buy clothing. We're there to solve a problem. Make me look successful. Make me look like a rock star. Make me look good when I talk to those women at the conference. Help me win that interview. Help me get that promotion. Help my husband to think that I'm gorgeous. You know, we're trying to solve a problem. We're not trying to buy stuff and spend money. So I've had a lot of obstacles in my day, in 32 years of business. I started that when I was 10. Yeah, right. And I've seen some struggles and some frustrations, so I was excited to be able to share this concept with you. So the first obstacle, because I jumped down to number 3, let's go to number 1. The first obstacle is money. And what a perfect illustration that Libby gave, because when I started my business, I started it out of the trunk of my car, and I was cleaning houses. When I had a baby, I quit work and I just started cleaning houses shortly thereafter. My baby is 32 years old and just got married last summer. So that tells you how long ago. And at a certain point, I realized I need to take my business to the next level. And I wanted to invest in a program, a training program that I had heard about and investigated. You got to remember, this is before email and Google. Some of you are like, I didn't know there was a before Google. There was. You used to have to go to the library to study up on a topic. What's a library, you say? It's where they had these books that were made of paper. And there was no place to get information on growing a maid service. And I wanted to get out of the field of cleaning and turn a house cleaning job into a business and a career. And I didn't quite know how to do it, and I didn't have the confidence. And I found a program, and I wanted to buy it, and it was $8,500. And some of you that have been in this town a long time, I live in Flower Mound, and we were banking at Security Bank. Do you know Security Bank, 2499, Long Prairie Road? It's now Compass, BBVA. But it was Security Bank, and that's where we had our personal checking and my little business checking account, where we would deposit funds from my cleaning customers from Buckets and Bows Maid Service. And I told my husband, I said, I really want to invest in my business growth, but my husband was a police officer. We had very limited income, and I didn't want to jeopardize the stability of our credit and our finances by borrowing money, and what if I fail? And, you know, the fear stops you. And so we agreed together, and I told him this was important to me, that I get a loan from that bank in my name for my business, and that I'm not going to take the money if they wouldn't give me the loan. So I didn't have a business plan, and he asked all these questions, filled out the questionnaire, and a couple of days later he called me and he said, I hate to tell you this, but I cannot give you the loan. But if your husband will co-sign for it, we can give you the $8,500. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I already made a decision that I wasn't going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I'll just have to figure it out myself. And you know, maybe if I had done it, I would have figured it out sooner, but it did take me 7 years. And within 7 years of deciding through trial and error, I'm going to figure this out, our company, our little cleaning company, was grossing over $1 million. We had over 25 employees, and I didn't know it at the time, but we were one of the largest maid services in the country. So I said, the obstacle of not having any money is not going to stop me from realizing my dreams. And I remember walking into the bank towards the end of the year, the end of the fiscal year, making my final deposit, like, you know, December 31st or something, and I saw Frank Shearer, and he always came out and said hello over those years, and, you know, we were on good terms. And I said, Frank, you know, we grossed $1 million last year. I'll never forget. He said, I know, we should have given you that loan. And it wasn't a hostile conversation. It was just, I loved it. I loved it. And I said, well, obviously I didn't need it. So don't let money stop you from realizing your dreams and your goals, just find a way. Not long after 9/11, my business started tanking. I mean, like 6 weeks after 9/11, my phone did not ring with a single phone call from anyone other than a customer canceling. And that had never happened in the history of my business. We kept it to 9/11 when the economy kind of tanked and the recession started and economic times got really tough for most business owners. My business started tanking and going downhill. And I won't give you too many details, but it spiraled downward for 3.5 years. And I thought that it would only last for about a year and it would go back up. And so not long after all that started, I'm laying off unnecessary staff, I'm answering my own phones, I'm doing all kinds of things for survival mode, and I needed a phone system, a new phone system. We had moved out of our current building in Flower Mound to cheaper side of town for rent, and I needed a new phone system. Mine was antiquated and it wouldn't move with me. And I couldn't afford it, and I got several quotes, and the best quote I could get was $5,000. We had like 5 lines, and back then it was before digital phones, so you had to get the landlines and the whole PBX system and all this stuff. You could buy a 2-line phone, but to get 4 or 5 lines, you had to buy a system. $5,000, and I was fretting. I was already missing paychecks and racking up credit card debt and begging sponsors, could I pay you a little late? I mean, it was really scary. I thought I was losing my business. I was losing my business. And a man that had been bugging me to barter and join his barter network called me up and said, you know, I just want to talk to you again about barter. And I always blew him off. I'm like, why would I barter? I want to be paid. You know, barter saved my business when it was failing. Some people think, oh, barter, you know, why would you trade with people? It creates customers. It saves you a small fortune if you barter the right way, if you barter smart. It also creates customers, because sometimes you don't barter forever with someone. And then they've had a chance to try your amazing service and they're hooked. And they're like, oh, I gotta have you. And so I didn't know how powerful barter would be. I was just trying to solve one problem, and that was I didn't have any money. And I learned to barter, and over the next few years, I bartered like $20,000 a year in services, saving my company a small fortune. We barter for print, we barter for sign hanging up on my building, we barter for massage certificates to give to our employees, we barter for restaurant certificates. I bartered to get my eyes LASIK, LASIK surgery. So I actually wrote a book called Barternomics. And I share all my little stories of how to barter successfully and how to save yourself a small fortune. If you're not bartering, and I don't care what business you have or what business you're in, or even if you don't own a business, I guarantee you there's something you can barter. My sister has worked for corporate America for over 30 years. And she said, I wish I could barter. I said, Lisa, you own a condo in Hilton Head. You don't have to own your own business. Everyone will barter with you. And she called me up one day and she said, I'm having the upholstery redone in my condo and I'm having it painted and my contractors are getting a week at Hilton Head. I'm like, bingo, barter, $10. It'd be the best $10 you ever spend if you get barter. Learn to barter. In other words, don't say, oh, I don't have any money for marketing, I can't grow my business. Then find someone who will trade advertising with your CPA services or your legal expertise, or whatever it is that you have to offer. Barter with people to build your business and to create new customers. It gives people a chance to try you, especially if you're new in business and you don't have testimonials. Your barter clients will be happy to go on Google Plus or Yelp and rave about you. And so think in terms of barter, not limitations to getting there because you don't have any money. Setbacks. That's another limitation. I'm trying to watch the clock here. Setbacks. That's another limitation. Like I said, I had a big setback in my business. We had become one of the largest maid services in the country. We were grossing $1 million. We had all this staff. I was working a shorter day. And all of a sudden, like a light switch being turned off on my business, things changed overnight. And I did not know how to change with the changes. And I kept telling myself for years, went on for 3.5 years, I'm sure we've hit rock bottom. I'm sure we've hit rock bottom. There's no place to go up. No place to go but up. And guess what? The next year, the P&L showed me that I hadn't hit rock bottom last year. I hit rock bottom this year. And then when I thought, I've hit rock bottom, then another year went, and another bill I couldn't pay. And some of you have been there. You're either there now, or you will be there someday if you succeed. And we think, oh wow, I've reached it. I've reached the top. I'm safe now. Don't fool yourself. I spent many a nights trying to sleep, laying in bed with a deep, deep stomach ache, just asking God over and over, dear God, save my business, please God, save my, I didn't even know what to ask. I didn't even know what to ask for, just please save my business. It's shrinking every single day. And that was a huge setback. But I'm tenacious and I'm stubborn, and I just kept believing there's got to be a way. Falling down is how we grow, staying down is how we die. And honestly, I was staying down. What I was doing, and this is what business owners will do, and you won't even realize you're doing it. Somebody on the outside will have to point it out to you if it gets that deep. I was commiserating with other businesses that were failing. We were all in tough economic times. We were all struggling. I would talk to the carpet cleaning guy, and he would tell me how business is falling off and he's cut his crews and he doesn't even know if he's going to be in business this time next year. And to be honest with you, I would feel better about myself when I would hear how horrible somebody else was doing. I wasn't happy they were doing horrible, but it made me feel less like a failure. And then I would talk to the pest control guy. Oh, I've cut my crews in half. We've sold several of our cars. And I would talk to all these businesses in the community, and we would commiserate, and we would whine and complain. My Valpak guy, oh yeah, a lot of customers aren't advertising anymore. My money mailer guy, as I'm begging him, can you give me another month to pay my bill? And he was like, yeah, customers are. And I would always find people to commiserate with, to validate that it's not me, it's the economy. It's not my fault, I have no control over it. Because if we have no control over it, then we're not failures. The economy failed us. And I won't bore you with all the details, but a series of events took place in my life where I became surrounded by successful people in my own industry who challenged me, who said, basically, it's not the economy, it's you. It's not the recession, it's you. We're doing fine. We're growing. We have that week-long list of customers who want our service. And for the first time in 3.5 years, I realized, oh my goodness, it's not the economy, it's me. And I've been blaming all these external factors, which means I have no control and I have no power. If it's everyone else's fault, it's those lazy workers that won't come to work. It's that high turnover because of the work ethic in America. If it's always everyone else's fault, then there is no accountability here, but there's also no power and no control. And that was the most liberating statement those people could have made to me, is it's not the economy, it's you. Now, they didn't say it that bluntly, but I got the message. And I came home and I said, you know what? It isn't the economy, it's me. And what is wrong with me? I'm trying to do business the way I did it before 9/11. Oh, I wasn't lazy. I just didn't change when my business changed on me. Well, after 9/11, a lot of people would say, you know, that was wonderful and I will refer you and I'll call you next time I have a party. Like, really? You mean like in 9 months? My business changed and I needed to change with it. And so setbacks, I was wallowing in misery, and I was surrounding myself with other people who were wallowing in misery. So what did I do? I surrounded myself with people who were successful. I started talking to people who were moving forward in their business, who weren't blaming the economy and the recession. And guess what? My attitude changed. I went from despair, literally, to passion again, which I hadn't had in 3.5 years. I went back to being passionate about my business and being excited about creating a customer and figuring out how to create a new customer because everything had changed on me. And when the passion came back and the discouragement went away, I was responding to my business differently instead of reacting to my business. And I'll tell you, 2 years later, we were over $1 million again. And we had shrunk down to below $850,000. When your expenses and your paycheck is set at one budget, it's very hard to adjust all those expenses, which I tried desperately. So it was painful, but cathartic to acknowledge it isn't the economy, it's me. And although that was painful, it was instantly liberating, because your future, your career path, your business is really not dependent on everybody else, and it's certainly not dependent on your competition. Well, my competition is so cheap, I can't succeed because there's Walmart or Target or ABC company. No, it's all this stuff we impose on ourselves. So, setbacks, you've got to overcome them, and you can. Surround yourself with positive people and good, smart advisors. Stop commiserating with the people that are failing. Go to the people who are where you want to be in business or in your career and say, mentor me, coach me. I have a list of questions. Can I meet with you for lunch? Get around positive people and avoid the people that are telling you, oh, woe is me, times are bad. We already talked a little bit about rejection in sales. How many of you are in sales? Thank you. Who said that? Libby. Everyone in this room is in sales. So those of you who did not raise your hand, I have a message for you. You are in sales. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're in sales. You have to sell the benefits of doing your homework and eating broccoli. Okay? We are all in sales. You have to learn that rejection is usually your fault, not the customer's fault, most of the time. Rejection is usually you didn't find a way to demonstrate how what you do for a living or what you have to offer will change their life, make it better, meet a need, solve a problem. And so instead of just going, oh, okay, you're just browsing, okay, I just won't make any commissions today. Instead of doing that, just say, I have that blouse. Isn't that gorgeous? It really looks good on. Okay? You're not selling, you're solving a problem. Gorgeous, looks good on, I think I'll try it. No matter what you sell, you have to solve problems to get people to want what you have to offer. Passion sells. Don't waste your breath if you don't have passion. If you don't believe in what you do, no one else is going to believe in it either. I tell my staff that all the time. I love maid service. I love coming home to a clean house. I wouldn't dream of using an underground cleaning company if I didn't own a maid service. I love it, and it feels good. And if you don't feel excited about your business the way I feel about mine, no one else is going to want to buy from you. We're about to buy another business in Flower Mound, and I think we're going to close on Monday, and I cannot wait. And I was just talking to one of the employees at this business the other day, and I said, if you're not excited about this wine club, if you're not excited about wine and how easy it makes people to come in and not have to pick and not have to go, well, that label's kind of pretty, I think I'll drink that wine, and maybe it's a $15 mistake, that's how we buy. Oh, that label's so cute, I bet it tastes good. That's a cute Cabernet. And I said, if you don't believe that you're solving people's problems of looking at a grocery store with thousands of bottles and going, I have no idea what to buy for this party. Is if you don't believe you're solving a problem, you'll never sell wine clubs. I love the wine club. It's like $34.95 a month. But if you just say, well, if you need a bookkeeper, I do taxes. Well, we have the software. We can do it ourselves. You see what I'm saying? You got to be passionate. And don't accept rejection. Just find a way to solve the problem. You just haven't found what their need is. Landscaping. Green Meadows Landscaping. They're not just putting plants and shrubs in. They're making people proud of where they live. Some people just want their neighbors to be jealous. Some people want a backyard that is such an oasis that they don't want to go out to dinner all the time. They want to stay home and cook out. Okay? They're not putting in shrubs and trees. They're making their home a wonderful place to come home to. And so that passion will sell. Education can be another obstacle. I don't want anybody in this room to say, well, I never did go to college, and I'm always passed up for promotions and raises, or I don't have an MBA, and that's really why I'm not succeeding in business. I never had formal training. Oh, for crying out loud, I only went to high school, and the high school I went to in Miami, Florida really stunk. We watched Happy Days during history. because my history teacher didn't come about 50% of the time. So, don't blame your lack of knowledge on the obstacle to your dreams. It's just not going to fly with me. I mean, hello, I got married at 18, started cleaning houses out of the trunk of my car, and now I get to speak all over the country to maid services who are trying to grow their business and help them through consulting. And I don't have a college degree. So I'm not knocking college degrees. Both my kids have them. In fact, my daughter's working on her master's. My son has 2 master's degrees in theology. And his business is Sardone construction. So, and both of my kids are entrepreneurs. Yeah. So don't blame a lack of knowledge. Be a student for life. I am a student for life. I'm a sponge. If I'm around anybody who has a decent business or success at all, I'm asking questions, taking notes. Be a sponge. Read books. The best book you could ever read in your life, if you're an entrepreneur, is The E-Myth. I absolutely love The E-Myth. It changed my business forever. You have to read it. It is a must. Michael Gerber, The E-Myth. 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 M-Y-T-H. You can go to Amazon and get it. And if you're too sleepy to read at night because you're working like a dog during the day, then get some audiobooks and listen to it when you travel. But read that book. Join a trade association. I said my son, he started Sardone Construction. He's down in South Dallas, and he does remodels and kitchens and showers and all this stuff. He joined a trade association this past year, and I kept nagging him. You got to find a trade association. You have to find a trade association. It will change you. And so what he was doing as a bootstrapper, trying to figure out this business on his own, he surrounded himself by other successful people who will mentor him and will answer his questions, and they introduced him to software and different products that he needs. So join a trade association. It will change what you think about the industry you're in when you get around other people who are successful and who are doing it and aren't failing. And then stop talking and do more listening, especially if you're struggling. I met with a lady one time that told me she wanted some business advice, and I met with her for lunch, and she talked the entire time and told me how she does this and how this is working for her and how she does this and several things she was telling me. I was cringing, going, oh my gosh, she never asked me anything. And we left, and I enjoyed the conversation, and I loved the lunch, and she was really a wonderful, delightful person. But she never asked a single question. She never said, you know, your business is 10 times bigger than mine. Could you help me with pricing or employee issues? Or nothing. She never asked a single question. Do less talking and more listening if you're struggling. And it doesn't matter if you're struggling with your career, not reaching your income goals or promotions, or your business. Subscribe to business professional magazines. Read blogs for your industry. Get the knowledge you need. I promise you, you will grow every single day. And then lastly, scarcity thinking. This is a big one. Scarcity thinking. If they succeed, I can't. If they grow, I won't. Baloney. I had so many obstacles when I started my nonprofit, Cleaning for a Reason. There were people in my industry, believe it or not, around the country that didn't like the fact that I was starting this nonprofit of recruiting maid services to give away free house cleaning to women with cancer. And when I first started, I went to some of these people in my industry. I shared my vision with them, and they felt threatened, and they felt like that was going to undermine the trade association that we were all a part of. And I got all kinds of flack, and it was a really tough year for me. And I just stuck to my guns, and I said, I just believe in this, and I just know it will be good for our whole industry. Our cleaning industry, we don't do anything collectively. And I knew in my heart it would be good. And I refused to let their naysaying and their implying that I was the president of that association, I can't be the president and the founder of a nonprofit, it won't work, blah, blah, blah. I ignored that, and I built that nonprofit within 6 years, and we have 1,000 maid services cleaning homes all over the United States completely for free for women with cancer. And they're making a difference. Thank you. Thank you. Booking jobs and hiring employees and firing employees, and you know, your nose to the grind. You don't think about benevolence, and now we have cleaning companies all over the country. We've already given away $3.5 million in free cleanings and have delivered over 13,000 cleanings in just this 6.5-year period. And it's because I said, I know our industry needs this. And there were enough people that believed in me that signed up, and even those naysayers have signed up. And they're a part of the program, and they're out there talking about Cleaning for a Reason. So I love that. I do want to rub it in their nose sometimes, but I'm not going to do that to their face. So what I'm trying to say is that scarcity thinking is what holds you back. Don't be afraid to give away. I talk to people all the time in business, and I hear people say, I can't afford to donate to the different charities. I just can't afford to do that. You know what? You can't afford not to. Donating has been the very best thing I could have ever done for my business. And I didn't do this to get praise. I didn't do this to get on television. I've been giving away free cleanings for like 15 years, way before I started the nonprofit. But what was a byproduct? What did I find out after I got started? Oh my goodness, a reporter wants to interview. You go to YouTube, you just type in cleaning for a reason, you're gonna see my face all over the place. TV cameras, radio interviews, and it's because people want to hear about giving back. I can't afford not to give back. Did I do it for that purpose? No, but what a great benefit of giving back. People will recognize, all of you in this room, if you're involved in another person's business or your own business, find a way to give back. Don't be stingy. Don't say, and I talk to maid services all the time, well, when my company gets a little bigger, I'll join your program and start cleaning for free. Like, you only have to clean 2 cancer patients a month. What hinders you? Well, I need to grow a little more. She'll be saying that for 10 more years. Just give. Don't have that whole scarcity thinking mentality. Marketing is another area where we get small-minded and we have that scarcity thinking. I can't spend any money on marketing because I don't have any money. You can't not spend money on marketing or you will never have any money. I was spending money on marketing when I was bouncing checks and missing paychecks. And I grew my business back where I needed to. And so that scarcity thinking, you've got to do marketing, even if it's shoe leather marketing. You go to networking events, you go and you knock doors and you talk to people, that's shoe leather marketing. Or you start writing checks and you hire a PR firm or you do what you need to do. So avoid the scarcity thinking. Take these principles and overcome the obstacles to your dreams. And go out and make a difference with your business and love what you do for a living. Thank you.